Exodus 20, verses 8 through 11. Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days shall you labor and do all your work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your animals, nor your foreigner residing in your towns. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that in them is. But he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. We can see how special the Sabbath is in just like some of the ways it's mentioned in the Bible and what it's used for. It's one of the only two commandments that have a positive anecdote notion. It is a ritual commandment. It's the only one, and it's the only commandment for where it's given a reason as to why you should follow it. In our church, we have a giant controversy between what day we should worship on, whether to worship on Saturday or on Sunday. Originally, in the Bible, in Genesis, after God creates the world, he ends the week, with the seventh day, which he uses to rest. And he said he rested on the Sabbath day and made it holy. To specifically quote, in Exodus 2:2, it says, "By the seventh day, God had finished the work where he had been doing. So on the seventh day, he rested from all his work. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating he had done." It is again reiterated in the book of Exodus, as I just read before, that after he helped the Israelites escape Egypt, he gave them the Ten Commandments to help reintroduce them as his people and to help give them a guidance now that they're out of slavery. Obviously, God didn't want this just to be for the Israelites now that we're here and we're supposed to spread the word. But as time has gone on, people have been put in certain situations where they don't want to follow the word, or they changed it to their own beliefs, or even the environment around them has made them afraid to believe that. There was a Roman ruler named Hadrian who helped begin this process of Sunday worship. During this time, a group of Christians had decided that this man was the second coming of Jesus and decided to attack the Romans. And Hadrian was not happy with this, so he began to persecute the people of Israel and Judean people as well as Christians. Fearing persecution, the Christians decided to take an interesting take on getting out of it, per se. That sounds bad, but you understand. Essentially, what they had decided to do was instead of worshiping on Saturday in the synagogue and going to the synagogues and such, they had decided to switch to Sunday. So that way they don't seem like they're Judaish people and would get persecuted by Hadrian. But they could still worship. The Judaish people obviously didn't like this, as because of this, Hadrian started to prefer and favor the Christians against the Judeans. The divide between the Judaish people as well as the Christians only grew wider as the Christians tried to rationalize why they should believe this way. And they were just becoming very political in how they spoke and how they tried to apologize. It was like one of those YouTuber apology videos, just bad. And obviously, this stuck with us to even nowadays. But even nowadays, clearly, we still follow this, even though we have general information of all the different times that the church was persecuted, and even though that the Bible directly states this. What really caused the full, like, set in motion thing was when the Catholics decided we want it to be on Sunday. We said it's on Sunday. It's on Sunday. No divine influence. They're just like, we want it to be Sunday, which they later will also state, no, the seventh day Sabbath is on Saturday. We have it on Sunday. We chose it to be on Sunday. We sanctified it. Which doesn't make entire sense because obviously God sanctified the Sabbath and they're putting their own personal preference and choosing their own method to have what is the seventh day Sabbath. Even after this clear-cut reason as to why we shouldn't worship on Sabbath or why people still try to believe that it is, in the Bible it states on many occasions that Sunday is the first day of the week, such as in Matthew 28:1, Luke 24:1. There's many a times where it's mentioned. People even try to claim that because Jesus rose on the first day, it's now the Sabbath. But that doesn't make entire sense because raising is an act of waking up, and Jesus rested on the Sabbath and woke up the next day. The reason why the Sabbath is so important and why it's considered a day of rest is because the time it's spent with God. God set apart a day for us to just enjoy and relax and be with Him. He understands work is necessary in this world. He understands that work is like a form of fulfillment. He let us have work, but he knew that it's important to give us rest. He chose to give us rest, and that's so important. It's so unbelievably meaningful to have a God who knows we need rest. We need set apart time with him. He knows us before we were at this point in time. He knows we would have been so quick to put everything off. Even now, we still put off his special day that he set apart.